Breaking the Silence is a podcast that dives into the intricate and often challenging topics of grief and loss within relationships. Through insightful discussions, the podcast aims to explore how pain can be transformed into purpose, leading to healing and growth. By addressing themes such as inner child work and the journey towards feeling alive once more, this podcast offers a beacon of hope for those navigating difficult emotions. Ultimately, Breaking the Silence aims to guide listeners towards moving forward and embracing all the blessings that life has in store as they embark on a journey of self-discovery and spiritual fulfillment. I'm your guide through this journey, Raynea Wallace, and I invite you to join me as we break the silence surrounding grief and loss, transforming pain into purpose and finding hope in the healing power of storytelling. Welcome to Breaking the Silence. I'm Raynea.
And I'm Kelli with an I.
We are so excited to have you here today and excited just to jump into this conversation that Kelli and I have been talking about a lot here lately. And we're going to be talking about the transitions of empty nest, like as kids leave the house, and just even the different seasons of motherhood in general, because Kelli is in a very different place right now than I am. So we're going to just sort of talk about what that looks like for both of us right now in the season of life that we're in. So, how are you, Kelli?
I'm good.
Good,
Good.
good. Me too. I was curious, I guess even to get us started, like how are you feeling as you're preparing to walk through, because it's not very long now before Sophia
hmm
actually leaves.
hmm
When does she leave for college?
like the end of August.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how are you doing with all that as it's getting closer?
I feel like right after her graduation, it seemed more real then. I guess that summer has gone on and she's still here. It just kind of feels like, okay, it's summertime. She's going to be going back to school or whatever. And I don't think it's like a denial, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't, I mean, today it does, the feeling isn't really like strong, like I know I'm going to miss her. I mean, I broke down a couple times crying and, she's my stepdaughter and just with blended families, sometimes, I mean, even with moms and daughters or stepmoms, stepdaughters, there's always like different nuances and things like that and stuff. And I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but, her and I have both talked and I'm like, I think when I cried, she was even like, "Oh my gosh, like you love me." I was like, I do love you." I was like, "I wanted to kill you before, not literally." And she's like, "I wanted to kill you before too, And it's just so funny because now that that time is coming, I'm like, "Gosh, I'm really gonna miss her." Just being around. She is so funny, and yeah. So as it stands right now, because I feel like yeah, we still have a few more weeks with her, and I'm like, she's close. We'll still be able to see her, but it definitely is gonna be it's gonna be hard.
Yes, I'm sure. Um, Anyways, I was thinking it's fun just those seasons with teens and stuff where you have those moments where you're like, I just want to wring your
hmm
neck right now or
Yeah,
whatever, like
yeah,
um but yeah, those moments, and then there's the other moments of like, oh, my babies.
yeah. Well, I think it's kind of like puppies. I think God made them so cute because if not, you'd be mad, like that, the teething stage of eating your furniture and peeing in your house and all that
Yeah.
stuff. And same with kids. And I think He made them so cute and things like that that you just, can sometimes overlook some of that stuff. But
Mm. Yeah, and just the fact that we just love them so much that yes, that
mhm.
them we might be irritated in the moment,
Yeah,
but it passes and we remember, I do love them.
yeah. And it's so
So,
funny too because like when her and I met, she was only 11 and just the stages that she's gone through, she was such a little girl, And I never had a girl. Like I had sisters, but as far as like a daughter, like I had, my son and stuff like that. And just like she was into slime and justice clothes and just all that stuff. And it was just so like, well, I mean, maybe I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. It's just like having kids, you're like, you can't wait for them to be out of the car seat, right? And then you want them to do the rear facing car seat. And then, they're out of the stroller. And then it was like before I knew it, I was like, one day I'm going to look over and he's going to be sitting beside me in the passenger seat.
Hmm.
And it just happens without you even knowing. And again, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but like you just never know when those last how do I say that? The last time you put him in that car seat. You just never know when that last time is going to be.
Right.
And so even for her, it was just like that transition. Like I think it was before I knew it, like then we were shopping at American Eagle. It was just like you don't even realize that transition just happens so gradually.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
anyway, so that's just kind of funny to see how that has changed. And
Well, and that sort of does take us into, and if there's anything else that you want to share, like just talking about your story with it as, yes, the last is leaving the home because this is the final one. So
hmm
totally
hmm
different than me. And we'll get into mine, but you have the other two that are grown and gone and off on their own. And now
hmm
she's going to be leaving and going to college. And so if
yeah.
there's anything more that you want to share there about, what that transition does look like, emotionally and practically.
hmm Um, yeah. I'm just trying to think of my last thought that I was kind of saying, just yeah, her transition. And it's so funny too, because I think in all relationships, like your parents don't really look that different to you till you see pictures of them younger. And you're like, when you see people daily, like I'll think even all three of our kids, I'll be like, oh, they look pretty much the same. But then I'll look back on pictures when Tom and I first met, and I'm like, oh my gosh, these kids were babies. And you're like, they're becoming men and women.
Right.
So,
Right.
um, yeah.
It's definitely a big transition and change emotionally. Um, and just like I'm sure there's the bitterness of the bittersweet feeling, I should say,
hmm
right? Of
hmm
so much pride and
hmm
yet also the loss of like our home's going to be empty now. It really
Yeah.
is a totally new season for the two of you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I think I overuse that word sometimes, but I think it is totally bittersweet. I can't think of another word because it's not bad. I mean, there's so much goodness in it too, but it is, it's sad too. Like you are proud, but at the same time, it's just, um, you're with your kids for at least 18 years,
Right.
and it really is like a mourning.
Mm-hmm.
You are like, you are kind of excited for you and your spouse, or you and your partner, whoever is like next transition of your life. But at the same time, it's like, um, yeah, it's like a mourning for the kids to be gone and living their own lives. And, you don't always know what's going on, and just, it's just such a change.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I think what do you think about like do you feel like there are identity shifts in that? I mean, I know for me, like when Brady went off to college and stuff, talking about that, just touching on that real quick, we'll get into mine here in a minute. But
hmm
I have experienced that stuff. I obviously have, multiple that have left the home now.
hmm
And and it really is, that is the only word that you could use to describe it, excuse me, is bittersweet
hmm
because you're filled with so much pride and so
hmm
much joy for everything they're doing and just accomplishing, and your heart just wants to burst for that, right?
hmm
Um, but then at the same time, there's the part that is like, my
hmm
babies are leaving the home. Like, this is what we raised them for. This is
Right.
exactly the whole purpose, like for my kids to
Right.
spread their wings and fly. So it's not
hmm
like I ever want to be like, no, don't go.
Yeah.
That was what all this was for. But
Right.
at the same time, you're like, oh, but my babies are
hmm
off and on their own, you know? So,
Yeah. It's scary. I mean, you hope and all that. I mean, you and I know this, like I cover them in prayer all the time because it's like even when they're under your roof, they're not always with you. So I always just try to cover them in prayer anyway because I
hmm
can't be with them, just to God to bless them, mind, body, and spirit, protect them, keep them safe. But even more so when they're out there navigating the world by themselves, it's scary. I mean,
hmm
there's comfort in protection and knowing like, all right, each night, they're here, they're tucked in bed, you know where they are,
hmm
you're kind of in control, and you have
Right.
really no control at this point.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, absolutely. And so, for me, it's really totally different than for you. Like for me, I'm still in the thick of it, right? Like I still, I mean, it's funny where I think about, 3 years ago when Dave passed and me thinking, holy cow,
right.
I have 4 kids to finish raising, nine
Hmm.
years. Um, and that, of course, was very scary to me in the
Yeah.
moment. And just now watching, like now I'm down to finishing up the last two.
Hmm.
Um, but I am still in the thick of it, like
Hmm.
I've got 2 years until my 16-year-old goes off to college, 5 years until my youngest one's done. So
Hmm.
I'm still in it. And so for me, it's different in the sense of like, we're getting ready to start back to school in a couple weeks. And
Hmm.
for me, as a mom that works from home, I'm like,
Hmm.
yay. I mean, I love my kids. I love our time together.
Yeah.
Um, but yes, I'm excited for them to I'm excited for us all to get back to normal routines. Like
Hmm.
summer's fun and
Yeah.
the break is nice and all the
Yeah.
different activities that they get to do and all that.
Hmm.
But I always love like back to school time because I love okay, just back to normal routines. I'm for
Right.
sure a person that thrives in routines.
Hmm.
So,
Right.
it's good to be back to that.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that there's the piece for me of balancing, like looking forward to like being back to routines and my kids being back to school and knowing that time is short.
Hmm.
Like when you're in the thick of it,
Yeah.
sometimes you can feel like, am I going to make it through this? Because sometimes it's not easy, right? Especially
Hmm.
if you're doing it alone.
Right.
Um, and but also like remembering like time is so short. Like time really
Hmm.
is a thief. Like I look
Hmm.
back and I'm like, where has time went? Time just
Right.
really flies.
Yeah. Yeah.
You and I were just talking about that the other day. And
Hmm.
and I've got one that's getting ready to get married in 4 months. And when they got engaged, that seemed so far off.
Hmm.
And now I'm like, oh my goodness, we've got 4 months. I need to be getting my dress and all the different things. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And it does go so fast. And I didn't even realize it wasn't until my son graduated and then I just realized that whole school year and it just hit me like a punch in the gut. And I was like, that was our last Christmas together under
mm,
the same roof. I mean, not that you can't ever like, I don't know, maybe we'll like, in years to come, I'll rent a cabin and, wake up Christmas morning. But in the grand
right.
scheme of things, that's probably not going to happen. And it was just like, oh my gosh, like, and I even tell people now, like if this is the last, like it was different with us because he was not going to be coming back home. He wasn't even going to be coming back home for breaks and things like that. He was going to go stay with, his dad and stuff. But it was just like, I do feel like we had a special Christmas, but I just felt like would I have been more present? I mean, I feel like I was, but then looking back on it, I was like, oh my gosh, like, oh my gosh, I should have baked cookies every single day. We should, like all these things
hmm
just felt like, oh my gosh, because you are busy with life. And even though I was aware, it still wasn't till after just kind of realizing that was the last. And it was just like, wow. And you just wish you could get a do-over, and
hmm And I think that is probably one thing. Well, maybe I'll save that I would share like in ending thoughts. But I would say for me too, I'm in the season of letting go piece by piece,
Hmm.
like looking at my youngest, it's now 13, and and that's just as mind-blowing to me sometimes. Like,
Hmm.
he's a teenager, and knowing, releasing more and more freedom to see how
Hmm.
my kids handle it. And because again, that's the whole purpose of what we're doing, that then they are able to fly the nest,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
be productive humans and good
Yeah.
humans. And
Right.
so,
Yeah.
anyways, I would say I would
Sure.
encourage people, mamas that like, because I feel like I have both perspectives, because I do
Hmm.
have, you know, multiple that are grown and have left the house now.
Hmm.
And I also have ones that are still at home. So I have both perspectives of knowing what it's like to have, I don't know empty nest yet, but
Hmm.
I know kids leaving the home and still being in the thick of it. And I think that just, um, I would say reminding people that I know we get caught up in the midst of all of it that's going on right now, but to
Hmm.
try to slow down and, like you said, be present and enjoy those moments because they are
Right.
fleeting. And
Hmm.
when we're in the midst of it, sometimes we're just trying to trying to do everything we need to do, right?
Right.
And then
Yeah.
before you know it, like you said, everybody's not there for Christmas or whatever. Or you still see
Hmm.
everybody on Christmas, but it
Yeah.
might not be that they're all together at the same time because everybody's got different things going on. And
Right.
so, yeah,
Yeah.
those moments that you have where everybody wakes up together on
Hmm.
Christmas morning, I would just
Yeah.
encourage people just to just savor it because it
Hmm.
really, really does go fast.
Right.
And I need to remind myself, I feel like, of that sometimes
Hmm.
because yes, when you're in the thick of it, you're like, is this ever going to end some days on the hard day?
Right. Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's just real, right? That's just
Yeah.
real life mom. Like,
Hmm.
it's not always smooth sailing and sunshine and rainbows. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's part of loving people and um all of it, having the hard moments, the good moments, all of it.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah. It's funny
um,
how God kind of constructs us too, because my mom would always even say, if I would get frustrated with my son and things like that, being a grandparent. Well, and you're even a grandparent. So you even
mhm.
see that side of it. So when we are like all caught up in, our jobs, relationships, baths, homework, extracurricular, sports, things like that. We're so busy and we can kind of get short-tempered and things like that. And then, she would always be like, as a grandparent, you're kind of removed from all that. I think that's why a grandparent really can just love like that.
Oh,
And
yeah.
she would kind of, try to remind me of that sometimes. Like I understand why you get frustrated because yeah, we're busy doing all that, making sure dinner and all that stuff, but just to
Mhm.
really and it's so funny because even as much as we're telling this to listeners, I was told that then. You will tell your kids that. I will tell my kids that. I tell people that I see even now, I probably look like the crazy, like old lady, like, when I see them with little kids and I'll be like, enjoy it. It goes so fast. And they always say to me too, like, I know that's what I hear. And I'm like, because it's true. And before you know it, it literally feels like a blink.
I was just
Eh,
going to say that. It does feel like just like you blinked and it's gone.
yeah, yeah. It's just so incredible. But
It is for sure. So, what do you feel like? Is there anything that you want to share about? Like, do you feel like there is the grief, like the silent grief of this season of her
mm,
preparing to leave? And
hmm. Yeah. Well, if you don't care, I was going to read these two things that I told you I
sure,
had
go
found
ahead.
here. So this was, looks like it's, if I'm referencing this right, it's at heymom.co is where I found this at.
Okay.
It just said, do not underestimate the difficulty in the shift from being the director of your child's life to becoming a member of the audience. It will be
Mm,
your greatest transformation.
wow.
I was like, yes, that's so true. And then this other one that I saw, I just want to read, and this is so true. This is again, it's her view from home. If you see a mom in the college dorm room section at Target this month, give her a smile, an encouraging word. This made me cry. Sorry.
You're fine.
Um, anyway, it just says an encouraging word, maybe even a hug. She's living her biggest dream and biggest fears all at once.
Mm,
Now, like it's so true, you know? It's so true. But
it
anyway, feel free to
absolutely is.
reference that yourselves and read it without somebody blubbering.
Oh, but it is so true. Like I'm just thinking of that
Ah,
now. Gosh, yes, just thinking of that as we were going and picking out things for Brady's dorm and you're dropping them off and all
hmm
the emotions of, again, so much pride, so much joy, like go chase your dreams, go play football, go play
hmm
baseball, do all the things.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, my mama heart is breaking right now too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you come home in the house and it's crazy. I have
hmm
a big family, right? So
hmm
you would not think like one leaving the house would make that much of a difference,
hmm
but it changes everything.
Yeah.
Like I remember as each one left, like the
hmm
house just like there was just that presence that they had that
Yeah.
wasn't there, you know?
Yeah.
And so just like when we took um even the older ones, but even like with Brady taking him off to college and coming back and like, wow, it feels so quiet. And of course you
hmm
adjust to it. You adjust to your new
Right.
normal. But
Yeah.
with each one as they've went on, it's just like wow, you wouldn't think that it would make that much of a difference with
hmm
having a big family, but it for sure does because
Yeah.
everybody just has their own little, I guess I'll say flavor, just who they are that adds to
Right.
the family, right? And
Oh, yeah, for
so,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
so I guess is there even thinking about like, and maybe this is something I feel like we'll touch back on this again. Um, when she has actually went because I'm sure the
hmm
emotions will be even as you're preparing still
Yeah.
completely different as than when she's gone, just coming
Yeah.
home to the empty room, the empty like the quietness of the
hmm
house and
hmm
things like that. So I think we'll touch on that then
hmm
again or revisit this. Um
Yeah. All that room isn't going to be empty. She's like, don't touch my room.
they better all stay the same.
Yeah, because
Well,
we
but
would
it'd
tease her
be
about
empty in
that.
the sense of like her all her
Right,
stuff
right,
won't be
right.
there. But
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
yes,
because
yes.
yeah, I mean, and we definitely wouldn't, it's been different with the other two because they actually moved out.
Right.
He will be coming back, like
For the
breaks and
summer
things
and
like that and
right,
stuff.
right.
So yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
we've teased her about that. Like, like when kids move out, like, oh gosh, now we can, make yoga studio or
A
whatever,
gym room, workout place.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me ask you, like thinking about like what now and finding purpose in the transition, what do you feel like that looks like for you? Even discovering yourself in this new place
hmm
or for you and Tom, like what do you
hmm
feel like that even looks like? Or do you know right now?
Yeah, I don't know. I think even in like the other two being gone, um, even though it's still not easy, they're still very much missed, and there is that, but I think there is a growth within Tom and I too, because we're kind of like living vicarious. I don't even know vicariously, like we're just kind of living special things even through them. Like we're experiencing things that I probably would never have experienced or visited or went and seen because of them. And
Right.
so it's like they are kind of taking us on their journey with them as well too, So that's kind of
Mm,
exciting,
right. Absolutely.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, so I kind of forget what the rest of the question was.
It was just asking you like where you guys are at in finding like purpose in the transition, like discovering like for yourselves like what it
Yeah.
looks like going forward.
Yeah. Well, I think it's one of those things too, because my son for sure is very private. So even within these podcasts, I try to keep his all of them really, because this is me choosing to do this podcast, but this they didn't choose for me to kind of like expel their lives out there. So I do try to be a little bit private for them, but um anyway, in saying that, I totally forgot where I was going.
Okay.
Um, oh, so even with my son moving away, it's one of those things where you maybe feel like, because some of my friends now are like, oh my gosh, if my kids move away for college, I'm just not going to be able to do it. I don't know how you do it. And I am one of those people that I just didn't think that that was going to happen. You know, I didn't discourage it because that's me too, like this, you have this selfish side of you and this other side of like, this is what this is this is what we prepared for. And so I've totally encouraged it, like while I want to say, yeah, don't take that job, just stay here. I'm like, no, because
Hmm.
within that it is beautiful too to see how your kids have just just are growing,
Right.
and just become more confident in themselves and just kind of branching out and just stories that they will tell you, you're like, wow, oh, okay, all right, like because sometimes I think we still think of them as our kids, our little kids, and they're
Hmm.
not. They're
Right.
not. They are adults. And sometimes I don't think I give enough credit sometimes. I mean, I know who they are, but and so that's kind of beautiful to see too, how they just, have really just kind of becoming their own. But
That is, I think, definitely a beautiful thing when you look at them and think what incredible humans they are, like who they've grown into, and
hmm
so much pride there in that of like, they're good humans, they're good
yeah,
people. So,
yeah, yeah.
um, I think for me, preparing, like, I'm trying to, like, I look at my 16-year-old and think, wow, like he's going to be a junior in high school. Like this coming summer will be the summer that we do all the things, the senior pictures, the college visits. I know he wants to go like out of state for college. So most likely I'm going to be experiencing that where
hmm
he's going to go further away and just yeah, trying to even savor that of like
hmm
being in it. Um in the trenches and not wanting to still wanting to savor like because I know it's going to go quick. I know
hmm
like I feel like once you hit high school, I mean it all flies, don't get me wrong,
hmm
but I feel like high school for sure flies
Right.
and just knowing like wow, when we get to summer like it's going to be all the things. Like I said,
hmm
senior pictures, all the things. So,
Yeah.
um and I think that this also can be a beautiful time of starting to discover like our own dreams and callings, as we're finishing up, like raising our kids, excuse me, um, and just rediscovering our identity outside of being mom. And I've had to figure that
Right.
out a few times. Like excuse me, sorry.
Bless you. Was that a sneeze?
No, it was cough. Like I needed to clear my throat. Anyways, um, like even when Bryant passed, like figuring
hmm
out who my identity was then. I was still
Right.
mom, but I was no longer a mom of a special needs child. I became like a nurse basically overnight for him. Like just
hmm
really um several times in my life I've obviously had to figure out my identity again,
Yeah.
which I
Yeah.
guess I want to go to that for a moment because I remember having this conversation when I was working with a coach. My identity never really changed. My identity was always that I am a daughter of the Most High God. Like
hmm
I am redeemed and saved by Jesus. None of that changed, but my titles
hmm
changed. So, but when you're going through that, it feels like it's an identity thing. But
Right.
I really want to encourage people that truly your
hmm
identity never changes. If you um,
Right.
have a relationship with God and you know him, you know Jesus as your savior, like you are your identity is secure.
Hmm.
Our titles might change, like I'm no longer a special needs mom. I
Right.
was, but I'm
Right.
no longer. So,
Right. Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah, you saying that, and I think that that has, and I think I maybe touched on this, like even when, like through all this, again, I have to be very vague in some areas, but even when I did find out he was moving away, there were so many blessings. I mean, God could not have just like, I mean, just unfolded the path of like so many blessings. I mean, I'm like, only God himself could have orchestrated everything the way it was. And it's just been so good too because there's some jobs that didn't work out and it's just still, just those trials and tribulations and just show how God has literally when those doors close,
Mm,
it truly is because we can't see in the time, but a better door is opened. And I have seen it and he has seen it. And so I am like when he first moved, when he first went to college, and then we lived together. My son went off to college. I moved in with Tom. That was a crazy transition. That was just a lot. That was a lot on my nervous system, I think. I
hmm
just was like, it's one of those things where I was like, it's almost like when you first become a mom and you're like, am I going to be normal again? I really was like, I mean, Tom was very patient with me because I missed my son incredibly. And he wasn't that far from me, but still, it was just the difference of I wouldn't see him day in and day out. I didn't know he was
Right.
just in his room. I wasn't having dinner with him. He was trying to find himself and school and all that stuff.
hmm
But I guess it has kind of shown me that in some aspects that I'm stronger than I expected because thank God God got me through that. And like you say, it becomes
hmm
a new normal and that transition and stuff. But like I would hear people like even, like people are telling me now, like, oh my gosh, if my kid moves away, I don't know what I'll do. And I was like, I felt the same way. It's their lives. You know what I mean? And we don't have to, but I want to support that. I want to encourage that. And I guess I'm kind of proud of myself that it's kind of made me grow because kind of back off a little bit too because I don't want to be overbearing. I want to um you know I mean he might think different. He might think I'm smothering. But it's kind of made me be like and it's funny because Tom and I both have had things happen in our lives where either it's happened to him first, so he's a little further ahead. And so, like, he's somewhat had this experience with his son, but, he's still local and we see him and stuff.
hmm
My son has moved away. Now his daughter's going to be moving away. So now I'm kind of a few steps ahead of that, but I do know what is to come because I know it's going to be really difficult for him. This is his baby girl.
Right. Right.
Um, so I think it does kind of show you that so as situations have happened for him first, I've been able to lean on him because he's been there and now he can lean on me because I've been there and I
Right.
will I will understand. I'm like, I know what this is going to feel like. But at the same time, I guess yeah, in a way, like I'm proud of myself too because um I guess it has made me stronger than what I thought I could be. But at the same time, like, I mean, again, I have to be vague in a lot of the story of my son, but man, God has just, I mean, in the scenario of your child moving away, it's the best scenario ever. I
Right.
really see him a lot more than I ever thought I was going to. And I feel so blessed by that because I know a lot of people whose kids do, they're like, oh, they moved away to Chicago, they moved away to Texas, whatever. And I see him maybe, I mean, even when my uncle moved away many years ago, we see him few and far between. And
hmm
I don't know how my grandma went all those years without
Right.
seeing
Right.
him. I mean, that is not acceptable for me. So,
Well, yeah, because just think like back then, even there wasn't FaceTime or anything that you could still stay connected. Like, even when Brady was off to college, like we could do FaceTime and stuff in
mhm.
between and all
Yeah,
those
yeah,
things. So,
yeah,
and he was never super far away. Like, of course, it was a drive away to like go and watch baseball games.
yeah,
I didn't experience like an out of state move or anything. So.
yeah, yeah.
So I guess I would love to give encouragement for mamas in every single stage, wherever they're at. Um, So I guess for you, Kelly, what would you say for words of hope for the empty nest mom, if you have
Um,
any?
just be kind to yourself, give yourself grace. Not only is this their first time navigating this, this is mom and dad's first time navigating this. I mean,
Mhm.
even if it's not the first time, it doesn't mean it gets any easier.
Oh, for sure.
You
Right.
know, I mean, it could be your first one, which would be the hardest. Then the middle ones, it's still a transition. And then when you have that last one, because if you have your first one,
Mm.
you're like, that could be hard, kind of like us, like my son, and then, Tom's son. And then we're like, okay, well, we'll at least still have one bird in the nest. Now we're like,
Yeah, but when you get to the last one,
yeah,
it is totally different. Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, I was thinking of something on that, but I think just to, yeah, just be kind to yourself
Mm.
and hopefully both parties, whether it's mom or dad, maybe one might even you know, um be better with the transition, but hopefully you guys are both supportive of one another because like I say, Tom was for me because I was very sad. But I think just to that's what I was gonna say. I remember the first time I moved out, it was like right out of high school, 18. I'm
Mhm.
excited. I'm moving in with my
Right.
boyfriend. I'm so excited. And my mom just stood there and bawled.
Mm.
And I was like, you're so selfish. And now fast forward, I was like, you're not selfish. Your heart was breaking, because it's like a death, a mourning of a death. So I think just to hopefully even the kids, hopefully you can navigate that together, that the kids will understand what the parent is going through. You know what I mean? So the parent doesn't seem too overbearing and the kid kind of understands, do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I guess just be gentle for each other, because that's really going to be hard. Like, if they're not texting back or calling back, or you're not really sure where they are, and I think just for mine, it was a lot of praying and I'm trying to think. I mean, it is just this too shall pass. God's phrase.
Scripture.
I mean,
Okay,
I
I should
I
not make a joke of that. That's become a joke now between us, but
well, I mean, we're not trying to be sacrilegious. It is
right,
funny.
right.
It's
No,
funny. Yeah, no, we're
no.
not being sacrilegious,
But
but
it is funny too in the fact that I was talking to someone else about that and they were like, it's not in the Bible. And I was like, see?
well, it should be, darn it.
That's right.
Um, so gosh, yeah, I don't know. I think just know you're not going crazy, because sometimes
Hmm.
you can just feel like, I mean, it is just such a transition. This is your heart outside of you, even
Mm,
when they're with you. And it's even that much more intense when they're out of the house. And
right.
so, I mean, if you have to call your best friend 10 times a day and or maybe just really have that conversation with their kid to be like, I'm just really struggling right now. Like I am happy for you. Don't think that this is because I'm not proud of you or happy for you. I just miss you. I miss you, it really because I think like even for myself, I was excited. I'm moving out, not that I wasn't going to miss my mom, but like I'm moving to something greater and it's going to be fun. And so this is where our kids are, they're like, college is exciting. I mean, not that they don't get homesick, not that they don't
Mm,
miss us or still need us, but this is exciting and, freedom and all that stuff. And we're sitting back here like,
absolutely.
so I think just give yourself grace, be patient with yourself. Just know, this it's just hard, but it does get better. It really does. And I think as you kind of become into your own, as they do too, it just your relationship just kind of changes, but it is for the better. And I think you have like respect for one another and and things like that. And I
Hmm.
am very grateful because I feel like I've gotten better too because there are a lot of times like I would text my son and maybe he doesn't text me back and he still doesn't sometimes, but I try to just not get so anxious over that, like I'm sure he's fine. You
Right.
really just have to like, you know, um, and I am very grateful for the times that he does still make for me because that, like that's really, so it's
Right.
just a lot of
Absolutely.
navigating,
It
it
is
is
for
just
sure. For sure.
so.
And I would say for the moms that are still in it, just as much as you possibly can, be present for it. Like as my son, my 13-year-old was playing ball this year, like we did end up that a coach is starting another team so that he will be able to play another couple years. But we originally thought like this was his last year, unless he played high school ball, this was
Hmm.
his last year playing ball. And like just savoring those moments, of
Hmm.
like, this is
Yeah.
it for me. Like I'm starting to come up on some of those lasts of things of like,
Hmm.
like, I mean, this sounds so silly, but like he got his braces on, which it's been a while ago now. But,
Yeah.
as he did that, I'm like, this is my last one.
Yeah.
So I would
Yeah.
just say be present in it as much as possible. I know
Hmm.
we're still in the thick of it. We're still doing all the things, dinner, bills, like
Hmm.
working, whatever, but just
Yeah.
treasure the moments as much as
Yeah.
possible because it does go fast.
Hmm.
Um, and I would also say for both, whether it's the empty nest or the mom that's
Hmm.
still in it, give yourself permission to feel all the things. I mean, especially for the empty nest mom, the
Yeah.
sadness, the
Hmm.
proud, the
Yeah.
the feeling maybe even a little lost in it, like what now,
Hmm.
and also hopeful, like just all the feelings, everything
Yeah.
that comes with it all.
Yeah.
So,
I
um,
think some of the things for me too is like I feel like sometimes as I'm doing things in my life that I feel like my son's missing out on, like I want to share those with them, and I still do, but at the same time, he is he is doing his own thing. Because I'll be like, oh, I feel so bad, he's missing out on whatever, and then I'll find out like XYZ that he did, and I was like, okay, all right, he's out here living his best life too, and good for him,
absolutely. Yes.
So, and yeah, or you know what? You could be like Melissa McCarthy, and I can't remember the name of the movie where she signs up and goes to college with her daughter. You could do that, and then that. So yeah, I think so. This podcast kind of for the kids too to just realize parents aren't being selfish.
Mm,
They're really proud of you. I mean, this is and even getting you to college, like in supporting you in that. That's what we want for you, but also just be kind to your parents too. Don't forget about them. Just know that they miss you.
hmm
It's not because I mean some cases can be like that, but for the most part, parents just want the very, very best for you, and they're just mourning the loss of you being home and they miss you,
I
you
think that's
know?
good that you said that. Like, even just for the kids to have, if parents need to check in maybe a little bit,
Hmm.
to have grace with them too, of
Yeah.
that this is a new transition for them. And yes,
Yeah.
although there's all the excitement of going off to college and starting this whole new life and experience,
Hmm.
it's big transitions for everybody. And
Yeah.
so to even have grace if parents are like checking in, to
Hmm.
make sure everything's okay and just
Yeah.
missing them a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, as we wrap this up, I guess, I don't know, is there anything that like you want to share before we close this, or a truth even of that you're holding on to in this season or anything like that?
Um, no, I don't think so. I mean, it's just I can't think of anything really. I mean, I'm just really excited. I mean, I'm excited for all of our kids because I'm so very proud of them. And I'm really proud of my stepdaughter because I've just seen her grow and blossom. Like she, used to be really shy and she just
Hmm
is, I mean, she's just coming into her own. And I just know that she's just really going to excel and do well. And we tell her anyway, we're like, you're not that far. So we'll probably be there for girls' weekend a lot. You probably aren't really going to get away from us. But
Right, right.
yeah, it's just life is just so funny. I even think about like and I've probably made this comment before too, when I remember when I was in my 20s and my mom was like, I just wish I could hold you again. And I was like, that's so weird. And so just each stage, I think we kind of long for that. We're happy for
Mm-hmm.
where we are. But there's just sometimes I just wish with my son it could just be cartoon morning in his little diaper, messy
Mm-hmm.
hair, and just but at the same time, I think even at this, then I'm excited for even my son's career to blossom more, and my stepson's career to blossom more, and my stepdaughters. And then, like, who are they going to marry? What does this next part of their life look like, when they have kids, just so it's kind of like, once you get over that hurdle, you're kind of like just that excitement. And I know even her college is going to go fast. I mean, my
Mm-hmm.
son's went so fast.
Oh,
And we,
yes.
we
So did,
joked.
yes.
We said we feel like we're going to be going down the road to drop her off for college, and the next thing we know, we're going to be driving down that road for graduation
Mm-hmm.
because it literally goes that
Absolutely.
fast. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, I guess I should just say, just for the kids and the parents to just have grace for one another. Just know that this is something new for both parties, and just keep a lot of faith, a lot of prayers, and then just always let your kids know like you're always there for them. That's what we just try to let the kids know, like we are always here for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
Absolutely.
and and I think sometimes too kids feel like they have to be perfect and perfection. And that's one thing I think we've really instilled in them, like we love you unconditionally. And I mean, I would even tease my son, he's very like passionate about certain things. And I'm like, you know what? If you came to me one day and you were like, I'm gonna buy an acre of land and I'm gonna be a bean farmer. And if he could support his life and that gave him true joy and passion, I'm like, I am all for that. Don't ever feel like you have to be somebody that you're not because you think like that's what I want from you or that's what the world expects from you. Or, I was like, I don't want you sitting in an office, with no windows because that's what you think, you know what I mean? I want you to
Right.
just have, what do they say? Like if you enjoy what you do, you don't work a day in your life. And that's really what I wish for my kids. I pray for my kids. But anyway, so I'm probably trying to kind of getting off on a tangent here,
You're
but
fine.
yeah, so I think just even when they are in school, there's a lot of pressures. And so I guess just to let them know, like you're still there for them. They don't have to be perfect. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, so yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Um, yeah, I was just thinking as you were talking about that even too, like just the scripture, I know the plans I have for you, plans for a
Mhm.
future and a hope. And so I just share that with every mom, every dad, whoever's listening and whatever season you're in, whether it's the college student, the mom and dad that are becoming empty nesters, or the parents that are in the thick of it. Um, yeah, that God has good plans. And
Mhm.
yeah, to just trust and rest in that.
Mhm.
And yeah, I would say just to rest in that and know that He's good and He's faithful.
Yeah.
And it it will be a beautiful thing, even through all
Hmm.
the different stages. So,
Hmm. Yeah.
alrighty. Well, we'll go ahead and end this for now. And Kelli and I send you off with so much love as you make transitions into kids going to college or back to school or, another school you're starting and all the excitement of those things.
Hmm.
Um, we would love to hear from you on what your biggest struggle is with the transitions. Um, and otherwise, like I said, we send you off with so much love, and we can't wait to chat with you next time.
Thank you for joining me on this episode of Breaking the Silence. As we conclude our time together, let us carry forward the stories we've heard, the emotions we've shared, and the connections we've forged. Remember, the journey through grief and loss is not one we walk alone. In the silence, we find solidarity. In our shared experiences, we find strength. And in our vulnerability, we find resilience. If you or someone you know is navigating the complexities of grief, know that there is support available. Reach out, lean on your community, and remember that healing is not linear. It's a journey, and you are not alone. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for being a part of this community. Until next time, may you find peace in the spaces between the silence. Please be sure to subscribe below and leave us a review. If you'd like to connect further, you can find me on Instagram at Coaching with Raynea.